I'm moving forward every day, Jesus. I just let him lead the way every second, every minute, every hour of the day. I'm moving with Jesus every day. 24/7 with Jesus every day. 24/7.
If it had not been for the Lord who was on our side, perhaps you would not be viewing this telecast. Certainly, I would not be here sitting, hosting JC 24/7. But more importantly, our guest would not have been in the studio with me. I am so excited, so delighted to introduce to you a gentleman who shouldn't be alive today. And he's here to share with us excerpts of that experience. His name is Ricardo Serrette. You will enjoy this experience. Trust me, as we talk on the subject, I should not be alive. Ricardo, thank you for being with us on JC 24/7.
No problem.
This is your first time, I believe.
First time, yes.
First time. And let's get into the heart of this experience. And maybe we can start from where it all started.
Okay.
From your birth experience. You are testifying today that you shouldn't be alive. Tell us something about your birth that helps us to come to terms with this reality.
All right. My birth, well, first of all, I live Cookreet area.
Right.
In a little shack down by the beach.
Okay.
I was born to two drug-addicted parents.
Wow.
My mom, she was on drugs.
Wow.
I born in maternity and I was born home.
Okay. Where was your father at the time?
My father was in the picture at the time.
Okay.
But my father's brother was in the picture, which is my uncle.
Okay.
And he's the one that delivered me at home.
Oh. How you managed to be around at the time?
Well, he and my mother was together.
Your father's brother was with your mother?
Yeah, that is also my sister's father.
Oh my goodness.
So, my father brother is my uncle.
Okay, and he was the person who acted as the person to deliver you.
Yeah, he was the person that delivered me.
All right.
And also the one that cut my neighbor's string.
All right. After this, you went to the hospital, I imagine.
I never attended a hospital.
You never went to the hospital?
Never went to the hospital.
So after you cut your neighbor's string, you never got checked in at the hospital?
Never got checked in. It was never registered into any hospital.
Okay.
I wasn't existing per se.
So right now I'm talking to a ghost. Wow. So you were never registered in any hospital?
No.
You had other siblings, I imagine?
Yes, I had another sibling that grew up with me as well in the environment.
Right.
He was a year apart from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said your father wasn't around.
No, my father.
The other siblings, how many siblings you would have had in all?
In all, I have 5 siblings.
Okay. And how many different fathers, if I may ask, that you in the family, so to speak?
5 different fathers.
5 different fathers. Do you know all of the 5 fathers?
Yes.
But your father you had not met at all?
No, I didn't. I never met him.
You never met him at all in life?
Yes, I met him. I met him twice.
Okay. You met him. How old were you?
Once when I was about 7 years old.
Right.
My mother take me and she introduced me to him. She said, "This is your father. Meet your father."
Wow.
And she said, "Call him Daddy." Eh?
Wow.
I shook his hand and said, "Hello, Daddy."
Right.
And then the second time is some years after, and he died.
Wow.
And he was being buried. That was the 2 times I ever saw my father.
When you first met him, how was that feeling?
It was not a good feeling because I know my mother, she just wanted something at the time.
Right.
And he knew he had a son. So, she take me to meet him, to get what she wanted to get.
Did that meeting last long?
No, it didn't last long because he himself was on drugs as well.
Oh, he was on drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us something about what happened after you were born and, you were growing up in this home, this place called home.
All right, well, with the area where I live, it didn't have the basic necessities. We didn't have any running water, no lights, no toilet, no kitchen, none of the sort.
So it was nothing. It was just a place to
sleep. Yeah, it was just a place to sleep. And growing up there was a very difficult experience because my mother, because she was on drugs, she will go to certain extremes to get her drugs. So because of that, a lot of different men
Wow.
will be in the picture. And where I live in the room, it was just a curtain separating
Oh my goodness.
the rooms into two parts.
All right.
So when they came to have their time with her, I would be right there.
So that was your live television set,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to speak. All right. I don't even want to ask how many guys would have been there. I suppose she was attractive, and is that?
She was a very beautiful woman.
Oh.
She was wonderfully and beautifully made.
Have mercy. And some men took advantage of it.
Yes.
And abused it. So you grew up with her. How was life at home growing up with her?
Life was difficult because she was a hustler. Like she often say, "Mommy going and hustle." So sometimes she will go, spend a day and don't come back. Sometimes she may go, she may spend 2 days and don't come back. And one day, Mommy went to hustle. She had 2 pairs of shoes,
Right.
high heel. You know, she just going down the road and come back. Sneakers, she said that she running shoes.
Wow.
She going to hustle.
Wow.
So one day she put on her running shoes, her hustling shoes, and said she going to hustle
Right.
and come back. When she left, the first day, we didn't see her come back.
How old were you this time?
I was about 10 years at this time.
Okay.
Second day, she didn't come back, and sibling. At that time, we fending for ourselves. I started fishing at a young age by the beach because I grew up there mostly.
Right.
And so I'll catch fish. And with catching the fish now, we'll make a wood fire. And we'll wrap the fish in fig leaf
Right.
and roast it.
Wow.
And that way we'll be eating unless the ocean bring up provision at shore. Where we will take the climpan. Remember the climpan?
Of course.
The clim milk.
Yeah,
we'll put that in our wood fire. And we'll boil those provision and stuff.
Right.
And that's how we survive at that period of time.
And you had to do this every day, I imagine.
Yeah, every day. But the days when we do catch fish or no provision and come up, it had fruit trees in the yard, so you have guava.
Wow.
So I guava, it had almond. So we will sit down, we will bust almond nuts below the tree to eat.
Wow.
You know, to
So your
survive.
life revolves around just getting up, getting fish, getting provision,
Yes.
getting fruits, and going back to bed.
Yeah.
Just doing whatever you could around the house.
To survive, yeah.
Survive. All right. So
And,
this day-
And then my brother, my next sibling, we will get a little play inside as well. So we go
all
play.
right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How old? He was older than you.
He was 11.
Okay, at the time.
At the time.
Right. So you're saying that your mother left this particular time.
Right, she left this particular
10
time.
years.
2 days, 3 days passed, 4 days, a week passed.
You became worried.
At that point in time, I became worried because Mommy never left for so long. So at that point in time, I started thinking probably she ain't coming back. 2 weeks come, 3 weeks pass, we live in the same cycle over and over. Until eventually more sprangers, so to say, or people on drugs, started moving to the area and started to
Right.
kind of choke up the area. So then, as 2 young boys, among these grown men who, it was kind of scary.
Right.
So then we decided to leave the area and we went on the streets. While being on the streets, we'll go through the garbage bins to get food and stuff. I can always recall one particular time I was going through the bin and this guy, he came, see us going through the garbage and he ran us. He said, move,
Wow.
messing up the place.
Oh Lord.
You know, and at that point in time, something took place in my heart. I said, you know what? All this pain I'm feeling for these years, I had to share some pain one day. Yes.
Oh.
I became bitter
Wow.
at that point in time.
And what happened after that time? Now, you moved out of Cookreet and you went to where exactly?
By the time period from Cookreet, within being on the streets and everything, I end up in Barataria.
Okay. That's several moving.
Yeah, like several movements.
Okay.
Several movements.
Okay. So if somebody asks you where did you grow up, you would have a challenge telling them exactly where you grew up.
Yeah, a little here a little, there a little.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you ended up in Barataria, where did you stay?
Well, I met an elder brother of mine.
Not the one you grew up with.
No, not the other sibling.
Okay.
Another one.
Another one, okay.
Same one, our different father.
Right.
Right. I met him and he took me in.
Okay. Is it that you knew where he was living?
Not directly.
So how did
Not
you get to his
directly.
house eventually?
You know, when I met to Barataria, you know, I asked around.
Okay.
And then eventually I was led to the place.
You felt relief
Yes.
when you okay.
When I met him, you know, I was greeted with hugs
Right.
and kisses.
Excuse me. Okay.
You know, so I felt good.
Right.
I said, life really starting to turn around, you know.
All right. Was he living alone at the time?
Yeah, living with his common law wife
Okay. Okay.
and his child, his eldest daughter.
So things took a turn for the better.
Yes.
When you got there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And he said, you know what, come out, send you back to school.
Right.
I was sending you to school and, you know, so you get an education, and I felt good. I started looking forward to going to school.
Right.
But unfortunately, that wasn't his intention originally. Probably it was his intention, but it never materialized. I began babysitting, cooking, cleaning,
Yes, sir.
and just doing chores right through
Wow. Every day.
every day. That was my cycle.
So that was your school work then?
Yeah.
Yes, so to speak.
And when I say babysitting, not babysitting with supervision, babysitting by on your own.
Right.
Changing pampers, feeding baby.
Yeah, you never did that before.
I never did that before. You know, and then sometimes when you cook the food and the food ain't come out good, it licks in your skin.
Is it that you were taught how to cook before?
No, I didn't.
So you just told it to cook?
Yeah.
And you learn the hard way?
Yeah.
And you got licks for not doing a good job?
Yeah.
What kind of licks? You use a belt or something?
Belt. It's kick and cuff again.
What? That was your punishment?
Yeah.
Did your cooking improve as a result of that?
Yeah. I can remember one time
Maybe I need
I stewed some chicken foot, and the shit got burned a little bit too much. And I was so scared. I take out the chicken foot and I wash out all below the pipe to try and stew it again. You know? Like I was so scared that he'll come and taste it and it didn't taste good. You know, I washed every single one, try to stew it over again. Yes?
Trouble is this, Lord have mercy.
I stew that chicken foot over again.
I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm sure I could not have done a better job than you did.
Yeah.
We are talking here with Ricardo Serrette here on I Shouldn't Be Alive. Maybe, if you ask me, I shouldn't be cooking either. But his testimony gets better. Sure, stay tuned. You're going to enjoy the rest of this testimony. We'll be right back.
Oh, love of God, how strong and true, eternal and yet ever new, uncomprehended and unborn, beyond all knowledge and all thought. We read the best in Him who came to bear for us the cross of shame, sent by the Father from on high, our life to live, our death to die. We read thy part to bless and save, even in the darkness of the grave, still more in resurrection light. We read the fullness of thy might.
I'm here with Ricardo Serrette, who testifies that he should not be alive. So far, we have heard how the Lord has had his hand in his birth and his growing up. We continue on the discussion as he relates to us what took place just after you reached your brother's house. Things were not going well. You worked as a slave. You were abused. How long did you stay at your brother's house?
I stayed there for approximately a year.
Okay.
Or something.
Okay. Now, what made you leave eventually?
Well, one day we had a falling out, and he locked up the doors in the house. He told me I was playing man. So he locked up the doors in the house to manhandle me.
Oh, wow.
So I guess I beat in my life
Hey.
that day, and that I decided
How much older was he than you?
he about 20-something years older than me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And you got a good, well, we would say cocktail, but it wasn't cocktail, it was worse than that.
Yeah. So at that point in time, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to kill this fella.
You said that to yourself?
Yeah, man. I said, I'm going to kill him. So I made up my mind to kill him.
Wow. And you had a plan as to how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Don't tell us here, but you had a plan in your head.
Yeah.
All right. So what happened? You left. Is it that you decided, I'm going to take no more and you leave, or they put you out? What?
Well, he put me out of his place. Told me to find somewhere to go.
Right.
And he put me out.
Okay. I guess you were happy at that time.
Yeah. Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. Yes, I'm happy that I had to go through the abuse, but sad because which part I'm going now.
Oh, you didn't know. And he didn't know where you were going.
No, he didn't know.
care too much. Just get out of the house.
Yeah.
You remember what month it was of the year?
No, I
I
can't
remember exactly.
exactly one.
Where did you go then?
Well, whilst being there, I had interaction with some other street guys. I have a particular guy. His alias was Satan.
Satan.
Yeah.
Wow, what an
He always in black. He
Okay.
used to live right next door, you know. With conversation with him and thing, he said, I'll take you under my wing. And with going under his wing, he wasn't a Christian.
I hear you loud and clear.
He wasn't bringing me to church.
Well, I tell you. I mean, Satan doesn't go to church like that.
Right. So we started talk about what he's do. You know, he's do robberies and different things. And
Remind us of how old you were at this time.
at this time, I could be about 13 years.
Okay, right.
About 13 years at this time.
So you just started teenage life.
Yeah. I know he had his guns and things. I know, so he gave me my first gun to hold. He showed me how to break it down, how to put it back together, how to safety and them different things. And that is when my life a crime began.
And when you got those guns, or that particular gun or guns, as he might, he might have given you, did your brother factor into your mind?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the first factor that came in my mind.
Oh my Lord.
You know?
And you did, but you didn't go through with it.
Well, I went back and I tried to kill him. But I wasn't successful. He got away.
Oh, he got away?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. He got away.
He knew you were after him?
Yeah, eventually he knew I was after him. And after that, you know, he came and he spoke with me. Not to invite me back home, but any problem he had with anybody,
Oh.
he would try to come and say, "Hey, Ricardo,
Okay.
this man come around your family and
Right.
for me to..."
Right.
Yeah.
So you all became good friends after that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But your life of crime, I'm laughing, but I know it's very serious. Your life of crime would have begun there.
Then, yes.
Okay. So he was your first target, by the way?
Yeah, he was my first target.
And because you missed, you didn't think you would, you thought you would have gone through with other people. If you missed him, perhaps maybe you're not called out for this.
No, went through my.
Okay.
I think he was just lucky.
Oh, it's lucky.
Yeah.
And then you started your life of crime. What are some of the things, without trying to go too graphic on us, what are some of the things you would have done?
Robberies.
Right.
I can remember the first time I went on a robbery, I was scared. But because of the company which I went with, I couldn't afford to back down.
Right.
I know, because of my appearance, I used to always be one to go into the location to stick up the persons. And after doing that a couple of times, First time I was scared. Second time less scared, less and less, and that's how
Right.
it began.
So you became more courageous.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back a little bit with your domestic life. You said you saw your father at one time when you were 8 years old. Did you see him again after that?
Yeah, I saw him a second time after he died.
After he died?
Yeah,
Just about the time he was dying.
Yeah, he died.
He died?
Yeah, I went to his funeral.
At his funeral?
Yeah.
Wow. How was that for you?
It wasn't, no, I didn't really know him.
Because you didn't know him?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you find out that he died?
Well, he had other children. And they told me.
How old were you this time when you found out that he died?
When I found out, I was 15 years.
Oh, 50. Did your mother ever come back to see you guys?
She never came back, but while I was in Barataria, one of her associates came and he said to me, he said, if you want to see your mother alive again, go to Paula Spain General Hospital now. She in her lung.
Wow.
And I went to Paula Spain General Hospital.
Again, how old were you this time?
This time I was 15 years old.
15 years old.
Yeah. I went to the hospital. I asked the nurse, Angel Serrette. He's like, Angel Serrette on the bed. So Angel Serrette, and I asked him a second time.
Wow.
She said, look, Angel Serrette on the bed.
Wow.
I couldn't recognize her because of her. She is so skinny and so thin, and her face was deformed because she had a stroke.
Oh, she had a stroke.
Yeah. And I went to her and I started to speak with her. Tears full up in my eye to see the condition which she was in.
Did you recognize any feature that reminded you of her?
Her hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then she said to me, come closer. And I went closer. She said, you know, Mommy love you. And she said, you know, Mommy, just always tell you the truth. She said, Mommy dying. She said, I have HIV. And I'm dying.
How did that affect you?
I cried. You know, I just wish it had some way or something I could do
Right.
to make she better.
Okay. What hurt you the most, though? Because she wasn't there for you. It appeared that she wasn't there for you at some point, at least 5 years. And is it that she was dying? Is it that this is the last time you're going to see her? Is it the condition in which she was that made you?
The condition
Okay.
that she was in. I said, her face twisting.
Wow.
She talking with a slur speech. She could barely talk it.
Right. But you understood what she was saying.
Yeah.
How long after did she pass away?
A week after she passed away.
Okay. You went to her funeral as well?
Yes, I went to her funeral.
Ricardo, your life has been, it's a checkered past, but at what point did it all begin to swing around for the better?
It's for the better after my incarceration.
How did you get incarcerated?
Well, I and an individual, we went on a robbery. And we got through the robbery. But we had some merchandise in our possession. And apparently he went in a certain area to sell some merchandise and he got caught. So he called me and he said, Ricardo, come down the road now. I have some stuff. Some buyers want to buy some stuff. And I went down there with his stuff and I gave it to him. It's a warehouse area. And after I took off the bag and I threw it for him, I walk outside. I leave them inside. He and some other guys. In my mind, it was the buyers. So when he came and he sat on the right side of me. On the left? Yeah, the left side of me. And a guy come and stand up on the right. And I there looking straight ahead. So the guy asked a question. He said, you now bring that bag with stuff there? I didn't answer. I didn't respond. And my partner here on the left said, yes, we now bring that. Same time he said that the guy do so and he out of that badge and he said, police, don't move. So when he said don't move, it's now self I move. So I take off running. But by the time I run in, it's because a Jeep done coming around the corner already. With men in black.
Wow.
I know. You afraid men in black.
Right.
Because they want a mission.
Right.
I hear kakank. I freeze one time and I get arrested and I was sent to... I got arrested at Easter weekend. So I was to spend this whole long Easter weekend initiation. Monday, I went to court, and I was sent to YTC.
Wow. And what happened to your friend?
While I was in court, the magistrate, he was a lot older than me. So then the magistrate she asked me a particular question. She said, young boy, this guy, he forced you to do this. And so I said, no, ma'am, it was a mutual decision. I made my decision to go. And she said, okay, remanded to YTC. And she sentenced him to 3 years hard labor.
How long you were supposed to stay in YTC?
I was remanded. She didn't give me a particular time.
Okay.
How long?
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's there that the Lord came to you, or you went to the Lord. What happened?
Well, while I was in prison, I met the New Prison Ministries with Richard Barker.
Right.
There is a team that come to minister, not only to minister in the word, but also in needs.
Right.
Because they always come with toilet paper, soap, toothpaste, rags, for the basic needs. And there, I met Richard Barker, and he made a statement that I always remember. He said, all those who don't want to hear what I have to say, get up and leave. And I was angry because I'm in prison, I can't leave and go away. At the time, I can understand what he was saying, but all I know, I was thinking in my mind, I'll catch him. I'll wait for him when I come out.
Right. When they said, what do we mean? Wait for him, what does that mean?
When I come out, I'll deal with him.
Wow. Yeah. Did you deal with him when you came out?
Well, when I came out, I met Richard Barker walking up 6th Avenue.
Right.
He walking a crawl. He have a kind of crawl.
Right.
For all those who know Barker.
Yes, right.
So I walk up behind him and I said to him, all those who want to hear what I say, get up and leave now.
Have mercy.
And he stopped. And he said, only one person can know that saying. And he turned around, he grabbed me one time. At this point, I don't know if it's out of love or if because it's a matter in case I was strapped up.
Right.
That he hold me one time.
Right.
You know, and then at that point, I just feel strange. I'm thinking, he gay or he hugging me up. So I was not accustomed to no man coming to hug me up with that kind of embrace, that brotherly love.
Right.
That was strange to me. That was alienated to me.
Right. So he treated that almost like a father.
Yeah.
So instead of you dealing with him, he dealt with you.
Yeah, he dealt with me. I ended up, he said, come to church, 9th Avenue, Barataria.
Right.
And he left. But I said, church, I don't hate to study.
Right.
Going to no church. I didn't deal with him. I just ended up walking off, feeling strange.
Okay. And after that, what happened?
After that, I go back living my life.
Right.
The fast life. Getting money, making money.
Right.
Partying, drinking. I was never a fan of smoking because I see what smoking could do.
At this point, did you learn any specific lessons before we get into because we have to begin to wind up and we're coming back in a little while. But did you learn any lessons in prison and while you were incarcerated? Anything that stood out in your mind?
Yes.
That you want to share with the public?
I learned that I didn't want to go back.
Right.
It's not a nice place. Because it have a concept in youth's mind to think, all right, you do a crime, you get locked up and you end up in jail.
Right.
But it's not so simple. It's a process.
Right.
And when you're playing big man, and you're hiding yourself from mom, you go, mom, you're changing. Excuse me, when you go into the process of going to prison, you have to strip naked in front of men. And you just have to strip naked and stand up. But you tell you have to pull back your private part. You have to stoop down and squat and skin your cheeks. And them different things. So that whole humiliating process you have to go through. So
that humbled you?
I know I didn't want to go back.
You didn't want to go back.
But in my mind, I wasn't thinking in terms of I want to be with myself, not to go back.
Okay.
It's do or die next time.
Oh, okay. But Ricardo, I just want to wrap this up because I know we don't have sufficient time.
Right.
But if you have to tell us one thing that the Lord has told you that you need to tell the public based on your experience, what would that one thing be?
It's when you have two sides. Is either you're on God's side or you're on Satan's side. God came that he may have life and have it more abundantly. And Satan come to kill, steal, and destroy.
Right.
Choose who you will serve this day.
And you can choose that person right now, JC. He is with you 24/7. As you would imagine, we have not come to the end of this testimony. You need to join us again next week, or next time, as we continue our discourse on I Shouldn't Be Alive, featuring Ricardo Serrette. In the meantime, as he has said, there are only two sides. Jesus offers life, Satan offers death. Which one would you choose? I'm sure it's life. Well, if you choose Jesus, you will have life. For he that hath the Son hath life. Trust him today. See you again next time as we continue our series, I Shouldn't Be Alive.
Thank you for viewing JC 24/7. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and remember to inspire your living as you prepare for heaven. You can get it all on JC 24/7.